The Roe Deer Great One is now 100% confirmed in coming to the Hunter Call the Wild, and the Squid Gang has already found a method that works. Now, this video is not going to cover herd management. This is going to be for my simple grinders, and for those of you guys that just want to get out, start shooting and claiming males, and get your Roe Deer Great One grind all squared away. In the sense of herd management, I mean, the Roe Deer Great One has been announced for 28 minutes at the time of recording this, publicly at least. We knew it was going to be the Roe Deer a long time beforehand, so we've already been looking for a method that works, and we've already found one. This is going to be a super simple method that anyone can do, but I do just want to make it clear to you guys that this grind is difficult. In fact, it may be the #1 most difficult Great One grind in the entire game. Yes, even more difficult than red foxes, because the way they work is quite literally the exact same as red foxes. They're just an antlered deer species, which makes them even more complex and complicated. But this method is going to make it as simple as possible for you guys. It's very, very simple to understand. It's just a matter of how well the method works out for you, or how well you can execute it, better put. So wasting no more of you guys' time, if you wouldn't mind, I do put an absolute crap ton of time into these Great One guides. If you guys would go down there, smash that subscribe button. Our goal by the end of 2026 is 50,000 subscribers. And also hit the like button so YouTube pushes the video to more people just like yourself, and allows me to get this method across a wider variety of people. Without further ado, guys, wasting no more of your time, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So the map that you guys are going to want to do the Roe Deer Great One grind in is here in Quattro Colinas. And the name that I'm going to give the method that I'm about to teach you guys is going to be called the zone trapping method. Now, in order to understand how to grind these roe deer, you guys need to understand something. You need to understand how home ranges work. Home ranges are lakes that are so far from other lakes. So these two lakes here, as you can see, they're kind of isolated away from all these other lakes. They're so far away that when you shoot an animal at one of these two lakes, it'll only respawn at either this lake or this lake. It's too far from all of the other water sources for them to jump out to there. This is what we call a home range. We're going to get more into that here in just a little bit. But you need to understand that the roe deer, when you shoot a roe deer, it'll never come back right where you shot it from. You can't get consistent respawns with roe deer. They're in pairs. It doesn't work like that. So that's why we're calling it the zone trapping method. We're going to go more into depth on how all this stuff works in a much more simple, organized way in here in just a second. I just wanted to explain to you why we're calling it that. Kind of just a little outline of how the roe deer work. As complex as it sounds, I'm going to make this very, very easy for you guys. So the very first step to any Great One grind in the entire game is to go ahead and find all of your drink zones. On screen right now is a hotspot map that'll be highlighting every single area that roe deer drink zones can potentially spawn at here in Quattro. They drink from 14 until 17. I'd suggest you set the time to about 1530, 1600, and reset the time every single time the time passes 1700. The next step is going to be to get set up at the home ranges. Now, I don't have a setup yet, but it's very simple what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to set up probably a couple tents and tripods per lake, so that way you can see the entire side of the lake where roe deer drink at. Because roe deer can't drink on this side of the lake, they can only drink on this side of the lake. So for example, this lake, good place for a tripod and a tent would be maybe right there. That'd be right there in the middle, and maybe you can slap a tripod outside of this outpost here and save it. That should allow you to see the whole lake, and then maybe one claim tent right in the middle here, so that way you can claim all your kills with a quad. Same thing over here. Once you find your zones, get set up in a very convenient way, so that way you can see the whole lake. Because, for example, if there were a zone right here and I shot a roe deer buck out of it, that roe deer buck will not respawn right here even if you have all your drink zones discovered. What will happen though is, since these lakes are so far away from all the other lakes and we can zone trap them, it'll respawn either at this lake in general or at this lake in general. These lakes are close enough to each other of where they can bounce between the two. At these two lakes, they can't bounce elsewhere. Another home range is probably going to be this lake here and this lake here. They're very well isolated. Roe deer cannot drink here, and there's no other lakes nearby that they could jump to. I highly doubt they're going to jump to this one. If they do, though, for some reason, that's okay, because this is actually the next home range we're going to talk about here in just a second. So these two lakes here are going to make an amazing home range. Again, find your drink zones at these lakes, get set up in convenient ways so you can cover the entire lake and see how your respawns are. Lastly, another home range is going to be this lake here and this lake here. Again, find your drink zones there, get set up so you can cover the whole lake, and that, my friendjamins, makes up a 5-lake method. Just like that. That is your home range. Now, it's not as simple as just getting set up and starting shooting. we're going to need to do the exact same thing that we do with the red foxes, except it's going to be a lot more of a pain in the butt. You're going to find, and hopefully I can find one, I've been yapping for forever and their drink time's almost over, you're going to find a lot of solo female roe deer. You're either going to find a pair, which is a male and a female in one zone, or you're going to find a solo female, which is a singular female in one zone. Now, when you find those solo females, obviously you can't grind off of them. So what we're going to need to do is a method called swapping. The goal here is going to make it so that way pairs in exterior zones, which is every single lake besides those 5 lakes that I showed you guys. The 5 lakes will be your main zones, every other lake on your map is your exterior zones, just like any other grind in the game. The goal is going to be to get the pairs into those 5 main lakes, and that is a very, very simple thing to do. Now, I wish I could find a solo female roe deer zone. It'd be much easier for me to explain. Let's just do some pretending. I don't want to lose my train of thought here. Let's pretend that bush is a solo female roe deer, okay? Again, this video is an example. I'm going to execute this whole method myself during live streams. This is a long process, guys. I'm just explaining it here today. That out there is our imaginary solo female roe deer. So when you find a solo female roe deer, what you're going to want to do is take note of where she is. So that would be my solo female roe deer. Let's just pretend like I found her zone out there. She's not going anywhere. What you need to do now is go to an exterior zone. An exterior zone, again, is any lake on the map besides those 5 lakes. And I'll probably have a hotspot map up on screen for you guys right now, highlighting those 5 lakes. It'll be much easier for you. Instead of just trying to remember the lakes I pointed out, go to any other lake besides those ones and look for a pair. A pair is a female roe deer and a male roe deer in one zone again. So what you guys are going to want to do once you've found that pair in your exterior zone, or any other zone on the map besides those 5 lakes, is go to that pair, or if you just found it, you might as well just stay there, shoot the female from it, and claim it. Leave the male there, wait 10 to 15 minutes real time, shoot, and do not claim the male that's in that pair zone, should just be a solo male there left, and then shoot and do not claim the solo female that you found in your main zone. That will provide the game a 50-50 chance of swapping the pair that's in an exterior zone with the solo female that's in your main zone. So you'll go from having a useless solo female to a pair. With species like roe deer and red fox, pairs are what we want in our main zones, because pairs are the easiest way to get consistent respawns. Repeat this for every single solo female that you have in your 5 main lakes, until you have only pairs. Once you have only pairs, it's very simple what you need to do going forwards. Make sure your setups are perfect so that way you can cover the entire sides of the lakes where roe deers drink at. Shoot and claim. Very important that you claim, because if you don't claim, the great one will not spawn. Shoot and claim every single pair that you see. And that, my friends, is the roe deer great one grind. Very simple. Small recap. Step 1, find all your drink zones. Step 2, swap your solo females in your main zones, those main 5 lakes, with pairs from exterior zones. Now, if you want a text description on how to swap, I know it's complicated, I will have a text description in my Discord server in the Roe Deer Extreme FAQ, which is currently in development and will be out very soon. We have FAQs for every single grind in the game. We will most definitely have one in there for roe deer. Otherwise, I'll try to dump it up on screen for you guys right now. This is what you need to do to swap your solo females in your main zones with pairs in exterior zones. After you get pairs in your 5 main lakes in pairs only, shoot every pair you see, yes, including the females. You're going to want to shoot the buck and the doe out of every single pair. Those pairs should only bounce in between those 5 lakes, with one exception. This home range here that I told you guys earlier, there's a very small chance that at this lake, if the zone ends up spawning here, and as you can see there is a zone there for me, there's a small chance that it could jump up to the river here. So that's the only thing you'd ever have to worry about. I don't see them jumping any further than like up there. You're just going to need to run this little portion of the river, maybe get yourself a tent right on that bridge or something so you can spot down that way, hit this outpost, run to it. It's not going to be that bad. The bad part is going to be shooting females and trying to hit these tiny little deer. That's going to be the bad part. We need to shoot twice as many animals and get nothing out of it besides consistent respawns, just like the red fox. And your respawns aren't going to be consistent in the sense of the deer coming back right where you shot it from. When you shoot a pair out of one of these 5 lakes, yeah, it'll stay in these 5 lakes, unless it jumps up to this river here, which is not that big a deal. You shoot it and it jumps back. But there's no guarantee that they're going to be in the same place every time. You could have a pair spawn in here, you could have that same pair spawn down here, you could have that same pair spawn down here next time. You never know. That's why it's so important, again, to have several setups all the way down your lake, making sure you can see in render distance the entire side of each lake. Several setups per lake. Maybe try to get 2 setups per lake. You might have to do some running for this Great One grind too if you run out of tents, because we only have a 16 tent limit. It's going to be a hard grind, guys. It's going to be a very hard grind, but that is the most simple way to do it. That's the way that we're going to do it. That's the way that we're doing it right now, and so far, in the 2 hours that we've been executing it, it's been a pain. It's been a big pain, but it is working. They will swap. It's just not like a predator species where they're easy to swap. These are deer antlered species, which are way more complex and way more difficult to swap. You think swapping fallow deer is bad? Oh, guys, this is going to be a painful grind. I'm not saying it's not possible, though. So without further ado, guys, if you have any questions, please let me know down below. Another tip, shoot them all with a 300 unless it's a diamond or a rare. That'll take them down way faster. 257 for the normal ones. You know, pretty self-explanatory, but the 300 is a huge thing. Shoot them all with a 300. Take them down way faster. And I'm sending you guys all the road to your Great One luck. As soon as there is an extreme herd management method in existence, it's going to be pretty self-explanatory if you understand herd management, but if you want to learn how to extreme HM your roe deer, as soon as we know of a method and as soon as we find one that works and we have success with it ourselves, AMAC and I will do a video together explaining how extreme HM for roe deer works, so that way you guys can get a ton of roe deer Great Ones, more super rares, and a crazy diamond rate for roe deer. As always, my name is Squid, you're watching the Squidster Gaming, and we'll catch you guys in the next banger. Peace out, my gamers.